The United States is universally acknowledged as a leading global power, famed for its economic and political influence as well as its status as a nucleus of innovation and entrepreneurship. However, beneath this image of advancement, the country is contending with significant social challenges, one of the most urgent being homelessness. This issue, particularly prevalent in numerous large cities, starkly contrasts with America's reputation as a land of opportunity and prosperity. Let's delve into some of the cities in the U.S. that are grappling with the highest homelessness rates, beginning with San Francisco. This iconic city, home to roughly 7,082 homeless individuals, ranks 10th among U.S. cities with the largest homeless populations. While San Francisco is celebrated internationally for its renowned landmarks such as the Golden Gate Bridge and its proximity to Silicon Valley, a global center of technological innovation, it also faces deeply rooted social issues. The soaring cost of living, driven predominantly by surging property values and rental rates, has made San Francisco one of the priciest cities globally. This extreme financial strain has fueled the city's homelessness epidemic, creating a sharp contrast between its immense wealth and the rising number of individuals living without shelter. Next, we head to Sacramento, California's capital, known for its governmental importance, rich cultural heritage, and picturesque natural scenery. Sacramento, while more affordable compared to other major Californian cities, is not exempt from the growing homelessness crisis. With an estimated 9,281 homeless individuals, Sacramento ranks 9th in the nation. Despite having a lower cost of living than cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles, the city faces a severe housing shortage, which amplifies its social challenges, including homelessness. Moving on to Phoenix, Arizona, a city housing around 9,642 homeless individuals, placing it 8th on the list of U.S. cities with the highest homeless populations. Phoenix is a favored destination for tourists, admired for attractions like the Desert Botanical Garden and Camelback Mountain. However, beyond the picturesque landscapes, there lies a troubling reality. Economic inequality, coupled with the steadily increasing cost of living, has exacerbated the city's homelessness crisis. Phoenix's situation is primarily driven by an acute housing shortage, with affordable housing becoming increasingly scarce, pushing home prices and rental rates out of reach for many low-income residents. Moreover, Arizona is grappling with a devastating opioid epidemic, with over 2,000 residents succumbing to opioid overdoses, largely due to the rampant spread of fentanyl, a potent synthetic opioid. The Arizona Department of Health Services reports an average of 5 daily deaths from opioid-related overdoses, further complicating Phoenix's already complex social issues, which span both public health and housing crises that are affecting cities nationwide. Let's now turn our attention to Oakland, California, situated just east of the San Francisco Bay. Known for its rich cultural diversity, vibrant art scene, and one of the busiest ports in the world, Oakland's allure as a bustling urban hub belies some deeply rooted social problems. Homelessness remains one of the city's most pressing issues, with around 9,759 people living without permanent housing, placing Oakland 7th among U.S. cities with the highest homeless populations. The steep rise in housing prices has left numerous residents unable to afford rent. This disparity is glaringly evident when contrasting affluent neighborhoods such as Piedmont, where luxurious homes line the streets, with areas like East Oakland, where rows of tents house the homeless along sidewalks. One local property manager mentioned that potential renters are often shocked by the sight of RVs parked around apartment buildings, making it difficult to lease properties in the area. This stark reminder highlights Oakland's growing divide between those who thrive and those who struggle to survive. Next, we arrive in San Jose, the heart of Silicon Valley and the birthplace of tech giants like Apple, Google, and Facebook. This city is home to about 9,903 homeless individuals, placing it 6th on the list of U.S. cities with the largest homeless populations. The irony is palpable. San Jose, a city that boasts some of the world's wealthiest billionaires, is also facing a growing homelessness crisis. The cost of living, particularly housing, has skyrocketed, with the median home price often exceeding $1 million, making it one of the most expensive housing markets in the country. As a result, many low-income residents, including service workers, teachers, and even public employees, are either forced to live far from the city or, in extreme cases, pushed into homelessness. This stark housing disparity lays bare the significant divide between Silicon Valley's immense wealth and the challenges faced by its less affluent residents. Shifting focus to Denver, Colorado's capital, renowned for its stunning natural beauty, framed by the majestic Rocky Mountains, the city has a homeless population of 10,054 individuals, placing it fifth among U.S. cities facing this issue. Experts agree that addressing homelessness requires a strong focus on housing, yet Colorado is experiencing a significant housing crisis. The state ranks 7th nationwide in terms of housing shortages, with a deficit nearing 70,000 units. This shortage drives up rent prices and home values, further worsening Denver's homelessness situation. Next, we visit San Diego, famous for its idyllic climate and stunning beaches. Yet beneath the surface of this coastal paradise lies a serious social challenge. San Diego is home to around 10,264 homeless individuals, placing it fourth among U.S. cities with the highest homeless populations. The city's attractiveness to tourists and retirees has driven up the cost of living, pushing many long-term residents to the brink of poverty. One of San Diego's homeless residents, Tracy Bennett, a 54-year-old woman, has been forced to move her tent and belongings numerous times as city workers frequently clear sidewalk encampments. Even though she has found temporary shelter near the popular Gaslamp Quarter, government notices continue to displace her. After 7 years of living on the streets, Tracy believes that these repeated evictions failed to tackle the root causes of homelessness. "We're not bad people," she says, "we're just in a bad situation." Her words resonate, reflecting a sentiment shared by many in her position. To her, these efforts to clear out homeless encampments are merely a waste of resources, offering no real solutions. Now, we turn to Seattle, home to 14,149 homeless individuals, making it the third largest homeless population in the United States. Known as a hub for technology and innovation, with corporate giants like Amazon and Microsoft headquartered there, Seattle's rapid economic growth has coincided with an alarming rise in homelessness. The wealth generated by the booming tech industry stands in sharp contrast to the growing number of people living on the streets. One individual whose story encapsulates Seattle's homelessness struggle is Kara Bernstein, who, like many others, sought refuge in a place known as the Jungle, an encampment located under a highway and notorious for its rough conditions. Despite the dangers, Kara found a sense of security there after years of living on the streets, appreciating the community the Jungle offered, a form of safety that is hard to come by elsewhere. Her story illustrates the complex nature of homelessness in Seattle, where despite efforts to provide shelter, many find solace in unconventional, even hazardous living arrangements. Moving on to Los Angeles, California, the homelessness crisis here is even more dire, with a staggering 71,320 homeless individuals, ranking Los Angeles as the city with the second largest homeless population in the U.S. Los Angeles, often hailed as the entertainment capital of the world, faces a cost of living that continues to rise, leaving countless people struggling to secure affordable housing. Between 2020 and 2023, the homeless population grew by 12%, a clear indicator that local government efforts have been inadequate in addressing this crisis. One of the most infamous areas in LA is Skid Row, a district synonymous with homelessness, where rows of tents line the streets, and makeshift shelters cling to the edges of industrial buildings. Some residents even tap into nearby streetlights for electricity. Despite the city's attempts to provide housing for nearly 60,000 homeless individuals, many choose to decline assistance, opting to retain their independence, even if it means living in precarious conditions. The contrast between affluent areas like Beverly Hills and the homeless encampments on Skid Row serves as a glaring reminder of LA's stark social inequalities. Finally, we arrive in New York City, often referred to as the Big Apple, the largest city in the United States, which also bears the unfortunate distinction of having the largest homeless population in the country, with more than 88,000 homeless individuals. New York's reputation as a land of opportunity is overshadowed by the increasing severity of its homelessness crisis. New York has long been a beacon for immigrants seeking a better life, and the arrival of newcomers from nations such as Colombia, Chad, Burundi, Peru, Venezuela, and Madagascar continues to reflect this legacy. However, many immigrants who arrive with hopes of securing shelter face harsh realities. Despite the city's legal obligation to provide housing to anyone who requests it, a sharp surge in the migrant population, nearly 100,000 in the past year alone, has overwhelmed the system. The city's shelters are overcrowded, and attempts to alleviate the strain by repurposing hotels and office buildings or setting up tents have fallen short. Outside of intake centers like the Roosevelt Hotel, migrants are forced to sleep on the streets, awaiting a chance at temporary housing. Meanwhile, the city's shelter system is buckling under the weight of this crisis. The surge in homelessness, compounded by declining federal and state support, has made it nearly impossible for New York to meet the growing demand for housing and essential services, leading to a humanitarian crisis in one of the world's most iconic cities.